We're going to make a very beautiful, watery watercolor of a bunny rabbit. To begin, start just below the middle, and with a black colored pencil or a black Sharpie, you can make an upside down U shape. That's going to become kind of a pear shape. So I'm now branching out on each side, and I am making kind of a pear shape out for the rabbit head. A little bit curvy on the bottom. To draw this very natural shape, I'm drawing very slowly. A line going up and a V for a cute bunny nose. And then on the sides, 2 eyes, which are just ovals with a dot inside. The rabbit needs a body, so I do a line going down from the head all the way to the bottom on each side. Now, this rabbit's fabulous ears can take up the whole rest of the picture, so I put a dot near the corner, and that will give me a place to come down for each ear. First, I do the inside of the ears to the top of the head, and then I do the outside of the ears down to the side of the head. All right, it's time to have fun with water. We're doing wet on wet technique, which means we get our paper wet before we add any water. So with a very wet brush, I wet my paper, and then with a very wet brush again, I touch it to the brown palette, and I can now swish that light brown color onto my paper. If you accidentally get too much of your color and it's very dark, you can use a corner of paper towel, which I'll show you later, to remove that color, or you can use your brush to spread it out more. Notice I'm getting that paper area wet before I add watercolor to it. This is called wet on wet technique. Because watercolor can only go where there is water, you actually control where it goes. Leaving parts of your paper dry means that that part will not get color. It'll stay white. So you actually can make sure that certain areas get wet and other areas stay dry. Look at how that black now, for the shadow on the bottom, spreads only onto the parts where I made it wet. And because that was a little too dark, I can use my brush, clean out my brush, and then sort of spread out the black a little bit more to make it lighter. I want to see how light you can make your colors in this picture. I can touch my brush gently to make sort of a fuzzy rabbit texture. And now I'm going to be very careful about which areas of the face I allow to get wet. I made sure to not get any water on the eyes. I used the tip of my brush just to work around the eyes. And then the cheeks and the top of the nose and the forehead can all get wet, but I left the little muzzle part under the nose white. And as soon as the wet paper touched the wet watercolor, it all spread around. It's very inspiring to watch watercolor artists do their work because they have so much fun using the water to spread their paint around. So this is a torn piece of watercolor paper. I was feeling like I wanted to take my picture to the drying rack, so I didn't want these puddles to roll around on my paper, and I gently touch into the puddle to absorb some of that water. I'm also being very patient just to let things dry and evaporate before I move my artwork. Whoops. And so a torn piece of paper towel can absorb the water. And then you're ready to turn it in. All right, have fun.